Good evening, workshoppers. Tonight we have episode 78, patch 2.4, and so much more. God, that's bad. But, anyways, patch 2.4 is finally here. Season 5 is right around the corner, or maybe it's already here. Time is relative, and, an elite caught inside of a time warp for Delcier's wizard, we can be delayed a little bit or something. I'm not sure. But, you know, we've got quite a show in store for you here tonight. All the wonderful patch 2.4 goodies. We've got some helpful hints in order to go through and get you started off with Season 5 unless your season's already started. That the whole time dilation thingy, whatever, and some predictions on what we expect from 2016 and this next year coming, because we were a little bit late in doing that. Because you have to forgive us, because we had a little bit of a problem last week as far as timing goes. But we're both back. So, I'm here tonight, as always, Nine Ball, and joining me, as always, well, almost always, is Leviathan. Say hi and wave to all the nice people out there.
Hi and wave to all the nice people out there.
There we go. And for those of you who are listening on iTunes and Stitcher, he did in fact wave instead of just saying it.
Nice. I can like how they do that test in schools where you like have to rub your head. What is it? What is it? Pat your head and rub your belly at the same time?
Yes.
I could do
And
it.
in
I could
Whistle
do it.
Dixie?
I don't know
And,
what Dixie is, but yeah.
okay. Maybe it's just because I'm from the South. They tacked on that little tidbit as well.
That's the "Are you a Southerner?" checkbox.
Yes, exactly. Uh, so here we are. It's been a while. It's been a
Well,
little bit.
damn man,
Yeah, apparently like December was like just not our month. This whole winter has been kicking our butts.
dude, I had so many good New Year's resolutions for being more consistent with stuff, being a better friend. I feel
What were you promising to be consistent about? Because this could be a very bad sign.
I guess that's true, right? I will consistently miss the show every other week. Like, I think we're establishing bad patterns here. I don't know.
Oh
Gotta,
gosh. Uh,
gotta figure that out a little bit.
yeah. We should clarify that one before we make that resolution.
Yeah, I didn't really think that one all the way through.
uh,
Oh boy. But I will just go on the record here at the beginning of the show and say I apologize in advance for any scratchiness of the voice. I'm sorry if it's irritating, but I am recovering from being sick. Over the weekend, I got a little something, a little chest cold, I guess, and it's nothing too crazy. Hoping to kick it in the next few days, but just in case, this is an audio show, so hope you guys can take it on, stomach it a little bit.
but that's okay. I'm sure, since everybody hates my voice anyways, that yours is still, you know, miles ahead by comparison.
We will. The comments will tell.
We shall see.
We certainly shall
I
see.
actually haven't seen any of those comments in a while about how irritating my voice is. I don't think it's changed. Maybe it's either grown on them or they stopped listening. I don't know.
Oh, or maybe their New Year's resolution was to get better ears.
Oh, there you go.
Mm-hmm. Robot ears.
Robot ears. Everything is just bleeps and bloops.
I hear the ones and zeros now.
uh, but yes, so here we are, and of course, well, we already kind of got into it a little bit, but Leviathan, how was your week in gaming?
Oh man, so it were this last week, it would have been pretty uneventful. I was mostly just doing some stuff on Barb to pass the time, I guess, between the patch. I was really hoping for it to come out on the 5th, and so I thought I would only have to, suffer through kind of doing nothing for a little bit, but then the 5th came and went, and so I ended up probably not doing much in Diablo. I can barely even remember last week. Was doing some Hoda Smash stuff, was getting reacquainted with that after killing off so many of them during the season and then just saying to hell with it. But now, drum roll, because 2.4 is here, man. Oh my God. I am so hyped. The listeners can't see it, but I have a huge like shit-eating grin on my face right now because dude, I don't think I've anticipated a patch more than this one. And even though the season isn't live yet, I just like the hype is so real. And so I've been working on some Condemn, just getting that a feel for that back again. Putting all the enchants, all the augments, I should say, on my ancient pieces with the Cul-de-Sans, Despair recipe, This is all stuff we'll get into, I'm sure, once we get into the meteor section of the show. And just running those Crusader set dungeons. I actually
Hmm.
managed to master 3 of them last night out of 4. Roland's is giving me a little bit of trouble just getting all the monsters killed in time because it's a really spread out map. But the set dungeons are a blast. I feel like they kind of got the balancing of it right. And, it was one of the things that you and I had been discussing, I think, over a couple of shows, just like that accessibility versus difficulty versus kind of the whole package of what these things are supposed to mean.
Yep. Where
And
it's like,
as
where do you find the balance between something that everyone can enjoy but very few can master?
Exactly, exactly. And I think they have found kind of the sweet spot for that because some of them are definitely harder than others. So some are easy. And there are reasons also that we can discuss that make it worth your while, even if you're not going to master them all, to
Hmm.
hop in and at least, complete an objective or two. But yeah,
What could it be? Dun dun dun.
mm, coming attractions. Yeah, it's awesome so far. I'm stoked. And really just looking forward to Friday.
Hmm. It's coming here soon, very soon, or like I said in the opening, maybe it's here already, and you just don't know it, or maybe now you do, or maybe it's already passed. But
Am I
which
seasoning
Friday?
right
I don't.
now?
You could be. You could actually be. Someone could be going through and listening to this while you're already like Paragon like 450 or something.
Well, if that's the case, make sure you stop by and make sure I am alive.
Will do. I will
Thank you.
totally stop by Boston and make sure that you are still alive by the time that you hit Paragon 450.
Excellent. Looking forward
Hmm.
to it.
Uh,
And as speaking of taking vacations,
yeah, speaking of taking vacations, so this past week, um, since the last, I guess, since the last episode didn't really have much to go on because that was the end of December and still were like, in the middle of winter break and everything was still crazy at work. And we didn't have the show last week. There was a couple people that were hanging out in chat and I came in to go through and explain what was going on, that we weren't going to have a show, and just answered some questions and joked around with the guys over here on the Twitch channel, um, and just gave everybody like little updates and stuff. It's since then, like that week, I didn't have my days off. The way that our calendar system works was Monday and Tuesday, and this was
hmm
like one of the first times I gotten like 2 days off, and not just 2 days off, but like 2 days off in a row. And it was like, the missus and I were just like, let's do something. What do you want to do? Busch Gardens. Yay!
Hey.
So we ended up we took a little mini vacation. We drove a couple hours over into Tampa and went to go and do Busch Gardens. Had a bunch of fun. I didn't haven't played that much games because my days off I spent out of town. So I haven't actually even played 2.4 yet because we got in late last night and then I opened this morning and then kind of went straight from work into the show. So I haven't even had a chance to like sit down and get like locked on in Shield or anything like that I've been wanting to. Maybe later tonight, maybe on Friday before the seasons, I'll be able to get something done. We shall see. Uh,
Amen.
we shall see. But otherwise, I mean, I have at least gotten my stash and everything in order from the prior season, just to make sure that that's all set, good and ready. And I already have. Gonna make sure that I have one of my demon hunters prepped for rebirth. So taking all of her gear off,
Yeah.
and then so I don't have to worry about mailing it back over or accepting the mail and such. So it's just gonna be ready. Hit that rebirth button. Here's a new DH. Let's go and just have fun.
Yeah, that's actually a really good pro tip. I screwed up personally because when the new patch came in, I was kind of banking on buying that new stash tab, the sixth one right away. And then I had items that my witch doctor was holding that were all barb items, and I was going to transfer the barb stuff over to that new stash base and then take items from the mail onto the witch doctor so I could sort through them because a lot of them were kind of like barb leftovers as well. And then do some comparison, do some salvaging, etc. And then the patch hit, and I like freaked out, and I just claimed everything from the season, and then just threw it in the new stash tab, and I was like, okay, well, time to play.
Hmm.
Just did
Let's
no
go.
management. So I still have stuff in my mail. I still have full stash tabs, and it's bad. It's really bad. I got to figure that out because, like you said, if you can get the character that you want to rebirth completely empty, that saves you so much trouble because then you don't have to worry about like, oh yeah, did I do my 30-day mail claim from rebirthing this character?
Mm-hmm. Because you're in that first 30 days, you're probably not going to remember to go back and do it.
Oh no, you're full on into season 5 at that point, right?
Oh yeah, totally, totally, totally.
Yeah, so we'll definitely have to get on that. That's probably, I imagine, what most people will be doing in terms of preparation for the season. Because
Mm-hmm.
there's really nothing else that you can do, right? Nothing else will really carry over from now, besides testing some builds maybe that you have, close to perfected pieces for from all the non-seasonal roll over and play.
Yeah, and
For
this
yeah.
is the first patch in season where you can do that since there's no more seasonal items. So anything that might be make a build dependent upon a seasonal item that you wouldn't be able to test until the season itself came out, you actually can access now.
Oh, good point. Yeah. So yeah, that actually, yeah, this is the first time where like everything is at your fingertips.
Hmm.
Um, and I guess that's another thing too to maybe if we want to continue on some pro tips as well for people that are potentially listening to this, like on a Thursday before the season starts or whatever. If you are looking to just test some things out, one of the main ways of getting some of those items, like let's say you have legendary items out there for a build you want to test that are on a legendary that got a rework power or something like that. Easiest thing that most people are doing right now is just finding the base yellow, using the cube to convert that to legendary, and then your odds are going to be whatever the other legendaries in that pool for that. Whether it be quivers, whether it be mighty weapons, etc. You'll be able to get that and then just cube that power and off to the races, or wear it if if you want to wear it in your build or whatever.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. And I know this is one of those ones where we're just talking about like people that most will be going into the season. I've been seeing a lot of talk, which I'm actually surprised by some of the people I've seen like on Twitter and such that have like never played a season. They've come back and played for the new patches for a little bit and such, but just never played a season, period. And that this time, like patch 2.4 and season 5 is like actually like started garnering their attention. So it's really cool that we're already, we're going to be going into, what is it? It's almost, we're just a couple months away from, 2 years of Reaper of Souls now,
Hmm.
and that people haven't even tried out playing in the season yet, and that this is like their first chance to want to go and do it. Now, I don't know whether it's because they can rebirth the character so they can play the same character in the season and continue their time played and their elites killed and such, or if it's just
Or
something else that is like garnering their attention.
something else, huh?
Hmm.
Maybe like that draw of the stash space.
That definitely could be it. That definitely could be it.
I mean,
Uh,
regardless of whether they're going to play the season until that very moment they unlock the stash space, or if they'll actually continue and enjoy kind of that nice reset, it
mhm.
waits to be seen. But I definitely can feel that there will be probably the biggest amount of participation in seasons as far as we've seen thus far going into this one, just because that allure is pretty strong.
That it is. People have been wanting stash space, and it's finally here.
Hmm.
We
Just
got
got to
we
earn it.
Yep, we have the one stash tab that you could already buy with the launch of 2.4, and then once you reach Conqueror in season 5, you'll get another stash space. You have to wait a couple more seasons before you can finish out all 10, but at least the opportunity is there.
Yeah, and actually, if we can, I guess it's skipping a few items. I don't know that our news items are in any order, anyways. But if you want to talk some details on stash tab earning, real quick.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go ahead and hit it up.
All right, so our good friends over at DiabloII.net actually congealed, brought together a bunch of blue posts from our good friend Nevelistus, who was in the forums earlier today and perhaps part of yesterday, talking about and answering some of the questions that people were having in terms of concerns regarding earning the stash tab in the seasonal journey and kind of what the rules are with it and everything like that. So one of the first questions was, um, when we get it in the season, will it be unlocked for non-season as well? Nevertheless has responded that yes, Stash Tab is immediately unlocked for both seasonal and non-seasonal characters, and also for hardcore and non-hardcore. I think we were actually debating this at one point. if you're gonna have to do it, for hardcore, non-hardcore.
Yeah, but that's kind of like came down to the consensus where there's only one seasonal journey that you can complete, both if you complete it as hardcore, it still completes the whole seasonal journey. You don't just get a new one by creating a softcore character.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, so it's tied to the just overall account, independent of mode, independent of non-season, or I guess dependent of seasonal, of course, because it's a season journey.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so once you get that, once you complete Conqueror, which by the way, that is confirmed, you will have to get up to the Conqueror tier, which is one under Guardian, and
Mm-hmm.
Guardian is the top tier. Once you do that, you will unlock that stash tab immediately. The next question that was raised was, can we get +2 stash tabs from season 5 if we do seasonal journey, conqueror, hardcore, and non-hardcore? So that was kind of just answered previously.
Mm-hmm.
But Nevelisis also went on to elaborate that even if you don't unlock the stash tab this season, let's say you don't get to conqueror, you just miss it by not getting one conquest or something like that. Uh, that doesn't lock you out of ever getting that stash tab again.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be on a rolling basis, so you can get one every season up to a maximum of 10. So
Yep.
right now we have 6 in patch 2.4. So if you don't get it in season 5, you can then get it in 6, 7, 8, and 9,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll be at your max of 10. So the earliest for all those completionists who want everything ASAP, you're going to want to get it from 5, 6, 7, and 8 seasons, but you can 9, 10, 11, 12 down the road just until you get to that max of 10.
Yeah, and so it's like don't feel that just because you didn't get to it in one season that it's not worth it. If you want to unlock all 10 of those stash tabs, then you're gonna have to play seasons at some point. And even though like we're saying that the stats required for it, you have to unlock Conqueror. In previous episodes we talked about it that like the requirements for Conqueror didn't change this season around. It's still just like the solo 50 clear, get the 3 gems to 50, and extract the 75 powers into Kanai's cube. It is going to be easier because the power creep. Every class has gotten some sort of buff. Everyone is getting a bit of a power creep this time around, so it's going to be easier for people to complete Conqueror.
Oh, most certainly. Most certainly. I think I think that's probably one of the biggest concerns is that people are just like, it's going to be such a difficult tier of the seasonal journey to get to. But I think we're still potentially thinking about it in 2.3 terms and not
Hmm.
necessarily the power creep of 2.4. And not everyone has experienced it because not everyone plays PTR. Not everyone grinds PTR super hard either. So when you put together like those augments, putting more main stat on your gear, just the increased level of power in the sets and stuff, it really does add up very quickly. And I can't imagine anyone not soloing GR50, not speed farming GR50, to be quite honest with you. So
Hmm.
don't be afraid, people. This will
Yep.
be fun.
The ability, the truth is out there, or something along those lines. I don't
I
know.
want to believe.
The show's coming out soon. I can't wait.
Oh, I know, I know.
Uh,
We'll save some of that for the after show, I suppose.
yeah, totally, totally. But anyways, I guess one of the other or one of the other questions that came up, after I unlock the seasonal stash, can I delete all my seasonal characters and keep the stash non-season? And the answer is, of course, yes. That it isn't dependent upon you maintaining that conqueror rank, just like your seasonal journey gets wiped at the end of the season. You've already been given those rewards, so they're yours to keep, regardless of whether you continue to have a seasonal character or not.
Absolutely. So no need to fear if you want to do the season solely for the stash tab and then you're completely done with it. Go ahead and delete that character if that's your prerogative. You will still maintain that stash tab.
Unless you rebirthed that character, and then unfortunately you have to wait.
That's right. That is true. What else? The next question was something we already covered that it is tracked on an account basis, independent of hardcore, softcore. There's only one
Yep.
stash tab.
But that also means that if you have multiple accounts, that you'll have to achieve Conqueror multiple times.
This is true. This is
Mm-hmm.
true. Yes. So if you have one account that you only play hardcore on, one account you only play softcore on, you have to go and do two seasonal journeys,
Mm-hmm.
separate accounts, get it done.
Yep, and I'm also going to imagine that even though this question isn't there, it's probably also regionally locked. So just like if you earn something on like the American servers, you haven't earned that on if you go over to like to check the European servers. So if you play on multiple regions, you again would have to unlock it multiple times because your seasonal progress doesn't translate from one region to the other, nor does anything like achievements or anything like that transfer from one to the other. So if you go back and forth, you're gonna have to unlock it multiple times.
Absolutely. And then one more question was just, I seem to already have a stash tab. What's going on here? I didn't even do PTR. What gives? And of course, that's what we were alluding to before was with the launch of patch 2.4, you actually do gain that sixth stash tab for virtually free. It costs 500,000 gold, but that's going to be there as soon as you load up and install the new patch.
Five
Go in
hundred
and buy it.
thousand gold.
It's a little steep.
500,000 gold. Do you know how long I'm gonna have to freaking like farm the auction house in order to get that much money?
I was hoping you were going to go there. I was like, man, you're going to have to flip some items, dude.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to go back to trading SOJs. Man,
You better farm up those mats and hope someone wants to buy a whole bunch of tomes of secret.
how many chip gems do you think that it would take in order to trade someone for 500,000 gold?
Oh man, you're going back to D2?
Going back there. Maybe if I find an ungodly plate of the whale.
Oh wow. You transcended
I,
all.
we
Hit them all.
we are taking it back.
I like it. I like it. So yeah, a nominal fee. You get essentially a free stash tab. Use it to your heart's content.
Hmm.
And that's pretty much the Jim Jam on stash tabs in season 5 and patch 2.4. I know again, like we touched on, the sticking point is should it be at Conqueror? Will it perhaps move down to lower parts of the seasonal journey in coming seasons? We don't know. I think this is just kind of like a let's put it at this level and see what happens, and then they might make adjustments down the road. And again, it's the whole idea that even if you don't get it in season 5, there's still potential to get up to that max of 10 future. And if they
Hmm.
make it easier, then maybe you're saving yourself some trouble in the end.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they change it after this season, whether they think that, Conquer is still a good place, whether it requires that much time and effort, or if they'll go and, drop it down to, say, Destroyer,
All right.
or something along those lines, where it's just easier to get.
Mhm. All in due time.
Hmm. How much do you really want that stash space? And how much do you really not want to play seasons?
That's right. You got to weigh those two factors.
Yep, I'm sure they'll find a balance at some point. Maybe the balance already is Conquer, and people are going to be okay with that. Especially
Mhm.
with the power creep and such, we'll see how long it takes people to complete it. Who knows? Maybe they'll have to. Maybe they'll drop it down, to Slayer or Champion, and then increase the difficulty of the seasonal journey just because the power creep has gone up so much.
That's certainly another adjustment that could be done. Yeah.
Yeah, if things continue the way that they are, I mean, soloing Greater Rift 50 and season 6 could be like, are you joking? It's like I did that, 3 hours after hitting 70. What's going on here?
Yeah, no, it's going in that direction, man.
Hmm.
It's some of the like timetables that people are predicting. Actually, let's jump into this for a little bit because I'm sure people are curious as to what the beginning of the season might look like, what some of the leveling tactics will be, and all that good stuff. So we can maybe start to just shoot some rockets in that direction here a little bit.
Oh, very much so.
All right. So again, like, some of the people are predicting just the craziest, fastest that we've seen yet. Catapult to level 70, catapult then to your six-piece set through the seasonal journey, guaranteeing it for you very easily.
Hmm.
Right up to T6 after that, and then right into T10, like virtually after that. So people are saying like, 5 or 6 hours into the season, you might be farming T10 if your group is that well coordinated and lucky on drops and you extract the right powers and all that stuff, like if you know what you're doing, you will be so far ahead of the game than you could have ever imagined in season 4, for instance.
Yeah, and it's one of those that, like, this time the 1 through 70 experience, um, you know, is pretty, like, about, like, on par between solo and group play.
Hmm.
Even though you are getting a bit of an experience buff when you play in a group, but because of the experience increase that you get just flat across the board that they did with patch 2.4, combined with the experience bonus you get for the action combat system, the what is it, the kill counts, your killing sprees,
Massacres.
those massacres and such, so you can get up to like easily get up to like 4 times the amount of experience and actually keep pace with group play if you're able to keep those killing sprees going.
Hmm. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of what tactics groups and perhaps solo players employ on their way to 70. I was kind of thinking about it earlier this evening as I was doing my research for the show, kind of what our seasonal journey would look, or seasonal journey, what our journey to 70 would look like. And
Hmm.
I guess this is, we could put it on record that we will be doing our normal race to 70 and beyond this coming Friday.
Hmm.
And who will we be joined by?
Who will we be joined by?
Hmm.
Hmm. People that were in chat last week. No spoilers. Keep it to yourself.
Well, we have our mainstay who's been with us through multiple beginnings of seasons now. We're bringing Dainty back.
Yay! We're
Yay!
bringing Dainty back. Never mind.
Is that the next Westmarch Workshop intro?
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
You're that you are next week's intro, so by all means, I agree to this.
Oh, there it is. You clever, clever boy. And then, of course, that's only three people, and you can have a max of four. So we're gonna take someone else with us. And drum roll, we're taking Lala this time. I don't think she's done one with
Yay!
us before, right?
No, she has.
Did she do that? Was
Uh,
that season two?
I want to say yes. It was season 2 that she was there with us.
Okay,
Hmm.
okay. I couldn't remember if
Yep.
that was if it was a seasonal beginning or if it was
I want to say that she also was season 4.
I don't know about that. I think it was Yumi Lunatic in Dainty season four.
True. True.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, you know who it was? Yes, it was season two, and it was Lala, and it was shucks, I'm gonna forget his name now, but it was that guy, you know?
That guy. Yes.
Oh, I
Yes.
feel so bad. What was his name? He went off to play like Marvel Heroes or something, so now I've just
Yeah. He
eradicated
was.
his name from my memory banks.
Yeah. Thibbledorf.
Thuble!
Yeah, because
That's what it
he
was.
big, and then he lost a couple of well-geared characters, so he switched from hardcore back over to softcore, and then left the game completely shortly after that.
That's right. That's right. So yes, that's our full party. It's myself, Nine Ball, Lala, and Dainty. Totally looking forward to it. We're deciding some classes, and I think we have them set. Well, Dainty's not too sure, but I'm definitely going Crusader.
Hmm.
Going back to my one true love.
I'm definitely doing Demon Hunter. My
Yeah,
Yep,
buddy.
my OTP,
There it is. Season one hype.
or would it be my OTC? I don't even
One
know what
true
those things stand for.
character
Class?
class. Yeah.
There we go.
And then Lala is actually going to take on the Barb, mostly because we're looking beyond 70 at that point. And
Hmm.
last season, she did start with her monk, which of course was great for last season because monks were super OP.
Yep.
But we realized that having kind of a support character early on, or someone who was willing to do the support role, actually helped a lot because you were able to kind of bum rush your way to higher levels of GRs just by having someone solely in that support role. And that means you're getting your gems faster, which means you're getting more efficient farming done.
Hmm.
It all kind of like snowballs itself, so it makes a lot of sense. And then and Dainty doesn't know what she's going to do.
She is the wild card in this
that's
situation.
that's right. It's either going to
Uh,
be feed nine ball
Yay!
with another DH, or she's gonna go the anti-meta and go monk. What?
Yep. No, she was talking in chat earlier how I think she is settling in on Monk for doing the anti-meta, just because she
Oh,
hasn't done one before, and she'll be playing a softcore Demon Hunter this season.
uh-huh. All right, there it is then. So very diverse cast, but Dex, Strength, Strength, which is good.
Yeah, although I mean that didn't stop us. What was that? Season 2 or is it season 3? Just feeding nine ball all day long, even though I
Season
was the only Dex user.
That was definitely season three. I
Yeah.
remember it well.
Yep.
Hashtag
Uh,
blame Archon.
blame Archon. Still on the moon. Training penguins.
That's
I
right.
don't. I think they've moved on from Pokemon to Yu-Gi-Oh now, and maybe by next year he'll start teaching them Magic the Gathering.
Oh, I see. Going up the card hierarchy.
Yep. And then it will all fall down, and they play Hearthstone and take over the world tournaments.
I was waiting for that. Yeah. When do they get their iPad so they can play some Hearthstone up there?
They're still waiting for Wi-Fi.
Right. Yeah, I
Yep.
gotta build some of those towers.
Uh,
So yeah, so now that's our party, that's our classes, and then the method, right? The method of the madness. I'm not sure. I feel like solo, it makes a lot of sense to probably go and do bounties because you're going to be benefiting, like you were mentioning, from those massacre bonuses. And they're a lot easier to control in solo because all the monsters are training towards you. So you can continue to figure out, okay, I need to keep attacking, need to keep that rope burning, train this monster here, skip that elite over there, blah, blah, blah.
hmm
But in a party, it'll be a little bit more interesting because, monsters are going to be a little split up between four players to attack. um, and forgive me because I don't know, but does everyone benefit from a massacre or is it by
It
character?
it's by character. So,
Okay.
and it's weird, kind of like how it works. That because if you go through and have like two people going through and killing stuff on screen while you attack other monsters, you can continue your bonus, your chain, because you're actually engaging in combat, so it will keep it going. But you might not necessarily be getting the actual kills. So after killing like 100 monsters, one person might end up with a 75 killing spree, and the other person only ends up with 25. So the massacre bonus is kind of like up in the air about whether you can keep it going. And then one of the other big problems is that as you kill stuff, um, if you kill things like faster, like instantly, when you're all going through and slaughtering stuff, it might not give you the time necessary to move on, past the screen to tag another monster in order to keep the chain going. So it's one of those. It's like you want to kill fast, but you don't want to one-shot things. So
Mm-hmm.
that way you can, continue moving and killing, keeping the spree going. It's just harder to do when in a group. But yeah, that's why. But that's again is offset by the fact that you're just getting a base XP bonus for being in the group.
Being in a group, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be, and also now you mentioned another mechanic there too, is you don't want to necessarily be one-shotting everything. So it actually might behoove you to move up in difficulty as well too as your character gets stronger. Because, for
Uh,
so long it's been play on hard.
now,
It's the most efficient,
yeah,
but
I
now,
I don't know if this is been completely fixed yet, but I know one of the things I remember reading towards the end of the PTR was the XP bonus that you get from the massacre doesn't scale completely with the difficulty experience increase. So hard is still the most efficient difficulty to kill things on, because even if you go up to expert, you're not getting that full benefit of the massacre bonuses for XP, for
mm,
the difficulty and such. So it's one of those ones where it's still best to play on hard. But one of
okay.
the things that's changed, particularly when you're in a group setting, and this is one of the ones that wanted to go through and give out for our leveling group for this season, and this is this is a one something that I've pulled from Reddit. This is by Herp Derpenberg. That
Hmm.
it's one of the best ways of going in leveling. And if you're going to start off in a group, like if you've got a leveling group down, what you do is you actually start the game on normal instead of doing on hard. And you go through, and the whole point is to complete uh, bonus act. You want to go through, complete your first bonus act, get all those bounties out of the way, and then essentially grind all the way up to level 23. So that way, once you get to level 23, you'll then turn in that first bag, and it's going to have a chance. At level 23 is now when it has a chance in order to drop Kane's set. That
Right.
hopefully you'll be able to get lucky enough to get that, so you can start crafting it for yourself. One person in your party, this applies more if you have a four-person group as opposed to a two-person group, that at the same time is going to start the game in story mode on easy and basically run through the game all the way up to the waypoint right before Leoric, just so that way you can get Leoric's crown. As soon as they get that waypoint, they jump into your game in adventure mode and go with you all the way up to the grinding of 23. Go complete the bounty, switch everything to hard. Everybody runs back in, kills Leoric, gets your Leoric's crowns, then back into the adventure mode in order to go through and just chain running. You can do a couple. You can run Rift, or you can just run the Bounty Axe and such in order to go and clear yourself all the way up to 70. I know like some of the best ways of doing it now is like just chain running Halls of Agony with the Massacre bonuses. Doesn't apply as much in a group as it is when you're doing it solo.
Hmm. Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see because obviously solo, you're gonna want to target a lot of those high density areas, fields of misery,
Hmm.
um, halls of agony, like you said. Some of those, what are they called? The ones where you do the 100 and cursed chests, events, etc. So there will definitely be some quests to cherry pick and whatnot too. It's gonna
Hmm.
it's gonna be an interesting time. I feel like this is I keep saying this, but I feel like this is the patch where like we just know so little. Like there was just so much going on between changes to all the different systems that it's a good and scary place to be at when you if you care a lot about like trying to progress quickly. It's a scary place to be at because you don't want to make the wrong choices. But just from a like position of wonder, it's kind of
Hmm.
awesome to know that so much is up in the air and people will be figuring things out as they go.
Hmm.
You
And
know?
yeah, it's just like one of those big ones that is just, of course, obviously the big thing is just keep going, keep killing.
Yeah.
With all
Yeah.
the XP bonuses that you have, this is going to be your fastest 1 to 70, period,
Oh yes.
of any season with the way that it's been revamped and such. So you're just going to have a really quick experience. But if you want to get in there and get as quick as you possibly can,
Super try
this
hard.
yeah, this is one of those ones where it can be very rewarding going and playing like in that specific time set. And it's really is really it. Whether you want to do just straight bounties, running some rifts interspaced in there, or just going and doing like the halls of agony farming. They're all kind of you're gonna get there, within like 3 to 5 hours. It's
Hmm.
really really quick.
And that's something to mention too is that no matter which method you choose, no matter if you are solo, group, whatever have you, they all will get you there in relatively short period of time and relatively within the realm of each other of each of the different methods. So at the end of the day, unless you're like super super try hard, you really don't need to have like a completely set strategy like this is exactly the skill I spec at this exact moment and I need to move here like just ridiculousness. um it's just going to be shorter, it's going to be sweeter. As soon as you get to 70 you get that two-piece mail to you. So just enjoy the journey and look for those legendaries, the ones that you want to save up in cube and all that stuff. Just I think like Nine Ball said, this will definitely be one of those seasons where it's gonna go fast, man.
Hmm.
Don't forget to look around and smell the roses. What's that quote?
Stop and smell the roses.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. I don't know if
um,
there's more to it than that. That's all I
well,
ever
I
remember.
was like combining Ferris Bueller with it too. It's fine. We'll move on. I did a movie thing
Bueller.
kind of.
Bueller.
Bueller.
Uh,
I did want to. I don't know that we want to talk about every single patch note change. We've been kind of hitting the highlights throughout the PTR and whatnot. But I did want to at least, while we're in the realm of adventure mode type stuff, just talk about some of the maybe best changes, goodest changes,
goodest,
and things
bestest, double
the bestest.
the double plus good.
Double plus. Exactly. Just some of the ones to at least be wary of, because there have been a few things that got tweaked a little bit. Some quality of life stuff. There's now an arrow that indicates the key warden, when you're on the map
Yay!
instantly, always pointing towards it. So that's awesome. Also, for some of the bounties where you have to go to a certain dungeon, or let me make sure I get it exactly right. The helpful indicator ping shows up instantly for bosses and dungeon clear bounties.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll be able to not waste time, waiting for that 1 minute before it says, "Idiot, you should have went left." That'll
And
happen instantly.
I remember just last season we were going on about, oh, the indicator comes up now after a minute instead of 5. It's so much better. Now we have instant gratification,
That's right, man.
but
Instant.
instant isn't fast enough.
Want it yesterday.
Exactly. I want to actually be teleported directly to the key warden when I zone into Stonefort.
And he should already be dead, and the key should be there.
He should just be lying there. So when I teleport into Stonefort, I expect to just see a key lying in front of me or no key, whether it dropped or not, so I can then continue on my way.
I just want to boot up my game and have all the mats.
Yeah, so when I roll my seasonal character, it's already Paragon 800, level 70, with a full 6-piece set in Conquer. So that way I can buy my stash tab. And if I want to care to actually continue to play the game, I can go and get Guardian.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. Don't give it time. Season 7? Is that part of our predictions?
Maybe. Do we want to?
We didn't
We'll come to that. We'll come to that. Go.
yeah, we didn't say it had to be good predictions. Anyways.
Go.
Anyways. Torment 10 now has an opportunity, and I say opportunity, it will give you 5 pieces of the legendary materials from your bounty caches. So that means if you're doing the bonus act and you get those 2 caches, you can now get up to a maximum of 10, which is kind of, ooh, I don't know. I see the Illuminati here. It's Torment 10, and if you do the bonus cache, you get 10 of the legendary materials, and then and then it happens 10 times if you do it 10 times. So I don't know, man. I see triangle Illuminati.
Just yeah, just obviously it's the 10. It's the magic number. 10,
Hmm.
10, 10. I would have preferred 9,
That
but
is that
that's
is a
just
good
me.
number. Yep.
Yep. Totally good number. Which, completely going on a tangent now that I've said 9. Everybody's favorite stormtrooper, TR8R, was given an official designation and a name. He is actually FN2199, otherwise known as Nines. So, um, great number. Thank you, Disney.
They did it
Anyway,
for you.
exactly. Exactly. Just throwing
That's
that out
awesome.
there. I'm done.
There it is. Some other quality of life type things as well too. Going into actually one more thing, the bandit shrines, which is awesome, have their own designation. They look different. They actually have like I put
Oh,
a tweet up of
I,
this back in the day.
yeah, I
They look
wish
like
I would
little
have.
treasure goblins.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. As far as like going and covering like the patch changes, I wish I had an image that I could pull up of that like real quick right now because it is amazing.
Mm. I can try and find it when you're talking, but I guess that wouldn't even help because you would have had to have pulled it in.
Yeah.
Um, oh well, either way, it is awesome though, and it's super obvious now, so you don't get any of those. Although I'm gonna kind of miss those moments where someone clicks on a shrine, and they're just like, "Oh my god, it's the bandit shrine! I didn't even read it. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry," and everyone's like, "What the hell, dude?" Gonna miss that a little bit.
Yep. But it looks awesome. Absolutely love the new look of it.
Great
And
art.
maybe I'll come across one this season. I don't know.
If you're lucky.
If I'm lucky.
All right, so let's move on to Nephilim Rifts. They got rid of a lot of the cave maps that people didn't like, medium and large versions of them being able to appear inside of greater rifts.
Yeah.
So that should help with just a better consistency of doable GRs that don't feel.
Yep. So they're not removing cave maps totally. They're just removing the medium and large version. So now you should
Yes.
only get like the little short ones, which is kind of like a hop, skip, and a jump in a straight line into the entrance to the next level of the rift.
And even if you do get those smaller ones, they've given them a little bit more density as well, so it doesn't feel like an empty hallway that
Mhm.
you're running through.
And also, mallet lords can no longer spawn in cave
Thank
maps.
you. Thank
So you're
you.
no longer walking through, because it's always that like in those caves that you walk into, you'll pass like that little archway that you can't see things in until you actually pass the arch.
Mm-hmm.
And depending upon what it is that you're playing, if you have some sort of ranged attack, you can shoot out and then see all of the monster bars start appearing. But otherwise, you're kind of like walking into unknown territory. Is there anything? Is there anything out there? Is there anyone out there when I walk through this doorway? And then all of a sudden, oh, Mount Lord, goodbye.
Right? It's already mid-swing by the time you see it on your screen, and you're just like, "Yep, well, that one hit me. That one
Yep.
shot me."
It's like, okay,
So
I procced. I'm running away now.
you're right. Definitely a good change. A couple of interesting things going on here, kind of like a multi-tiered set of changes. So the amount of progression that's given to you by the orbs that the elites drop has been increased. However, the total amount of progress needed to complete a rift has also been increased. However, the yellow elites drop 4 orbs now instead of the 3 that we're used to.
Yeah, because that's really important because people that were progressing in like the much higher greater rifts that were really like pushing, the envelope would skip yellows, just
Mm-hmm.
because they would have a lot more health than like normal elite mobs. And so even though you would try and pull together a huge pack of like whites and elites and such to go and like clump AOE down, the yellows you would still just skip after everything else was dead because they had so much more HP than anything. You might run into one of just like a low HP monster that might be worthwhile, but
Mm-hmm.
we'll have to see how this overall shifting and balancing works. Whether it's worth it to kill those yellows when you're pushing your highest greater rift.
That's right. More than anything, it'll definitely play a factor inside of regular rifts, just because we were seeing reports from the PTR of people being able to get like 2 minute T10 clears by themselves, like solo,
Mm-hmm.
which is, back in season 4, hey, there's a conquest for that. But you need a group and you need the best tile set and you need, just all the right things.
Yep.
And now you're going to be able to create those situations for yourself very quickly. I know a lot of people are doing some cool stuff with Boon of the Hoarder and the Avarice Band, combining those to get that crazy pickup radius so that you're always scooping up those globes, always
Mm-hmm.
scooping up the gold, which of course matters now with the empowered rifts. So
Yep.
I'm so excited. Like every part of the game has like more depth to it now.
Yeah, and I know there was one thing that I remember seeing on Reddit while we're talking about like rift progression. There were a couple of mobs that also had um, the amount of progression that they reward upon death increased slightly.
Oh yeah,
I think it was the Armageddons, the big beasts from Act 4 that would stun you, as well as the succubi, were all increased slightly, very,
slightly.
very, very slightly.
Hmm. Yeah, so they're actually worth killing, at least prioritizing for kills now, which
Hmm.
is good. Good to have more of those.
Yep.
Um,
We'll also be seeing some new faces inside Rifts because the monsters from the runes of Shusharon, and it also says forest-themed monster populations, which I imagine is going to be the new Grey Hollow Isle monsters, are going to be added into Rifts as well. So you'll be seeing new faces that you can then splatter across the rocks as you run past them in a wave of glory.
I thought you were gonna go in a direction with that of, although you said new faces, I guess this would be the return of an old face. Stone Singer's back. Stone
I
Singer.
probably should have gone that way. Yes, everyone's favorite Rift Guardian has returned.
Yay. And he's a little bit tougher now. He doesn't do the whole like I have no HP, I make clones of myself.
Hmm.
He is an actual legit GR, Greater Rift Guardian, and now he'll do some things where he puts down like these turrets that shoot mortar at you, but you can kill those turrets so they stop shooting their mortar. He does some knockback attacks. He's a little bit tougher now. He's not as much as a pushover as he used to be. So, welcome back, bud.
Yep, they made him bigger, stronger, faster than before.
Ooh, he's the $1 million Greater Rift Guardian.
Yep, I was gonna say he's a $6 million rock, but yeah,
Pet Rock.
just put some googly eyes on him. It's all good.
That was mostly it from the things that I kind of wanted to note from PTR patch 2.4 patch notes. Was there anything in
Mm.
particular that you
Uh,
fancied?
they doubled the duration on shielding pylons. They reduced they nerfed conduit, so it doesn't hit as many enemies per pulse anymore. And the speed shrine now also grants 30% attack speed.
Hmm. which is actually a good one for I guess for a lot of actually just in general, I'm happy to see that change because Speed Pylon was kind of cool,
Hmm.
but a little gimmicky. It was nice because you got the knock up on it, so it's kind of like a CC in a way. But the damage was kind of okay as like this dot where you had to like stand directly on top of a mob to have it working for you.
Yeah,
But
which
actually
could
getting
which could get even with like the little CC element, it could get risky at higher greater rifts standing in the middle of all the enemies.
absolutely. But at least having that attack speed part of it now, that's going to help out even classes that, stand at range and do attacks because now they're able to benefit without necessarily having to go stand on top of stuff like you're just saying could be very dangerous.
Hmm.
And then we're seeing kind of like the return of attack speed in a lot of builds, if not being spec'd for directly with as an affix, but potentially as something that's being added like as a bonus to a legendary power. Like something that comes to mind instantly is the bracers for Hoda Barbs. They gave extra attack speed to your Hammer of the Ancients, your or not Crater Shot, your Yang's Recurve,
Hmm.
making your multi-shot attack faster. So there's some APS being added in there for certain skills and things. So it's actually attack speed is becoming a more valuable stat again.
Yeah, and actually, this was one that I had missed, but Fouch is going through and pointing out in chat there that cosmetic pets will now pick up gold for you.
Oh, that's right.
So you actually have a reason to use all of those little pets that you get.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, besides of course looking cute and awesome and such. So you could go whether you're gonna go and start rocking the little spectral pup or your probe or your new upcoming little mini tree man. You can go and have them help you out by running around and picking up things of gold. If for the non-demon hunters out there that don't know the great benefit that is ferrets.
Right. I wonder if you have like the ferrets, if they'll be fighting each other. Like if your pet will be like trying to pick it up, and the ferret's like, "Oh, this is my job. I was here first, man.
It,
Come
it,
on."
it would be awesome if they actually would prioritize different gold piles so that way demon hunters are still
Ooh,
better.
I would like that.
I would like that too, considering I'm playing a demon hunter this season.
I would like that on your behalf, good sir.
Yes.
But that'll be nice, of course, because like we were mentioning, gold definitely important in 2.4 now that we have a gold sync.
Mm-hmm. Those empowered rifts, for going through and leveling up your gyms, either faster or higher or whatever it is that you want to. You can go through and drop a ton of money to get one additional roll on upgrading your gym.
That's right. So it's not a guaranteed extra roll, but another chance to make that gem level up based on whatever percent and level it's at,
Yeah.
according to the GR that you just ran. So it's a nice feature. And there was actually an unsung, undocumented change to the leveling up process of gems. It actually happens in like a split second now. So when you click the button to upgrade, you pick your Bane of the Trap or whatever, you click the upgrade button, the little bar of progress where it used to kind of like take 3 seconds or so now just goes boop, and then it tells you success, failure, and then you can just like you can basically spam it now and get all four done super quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously a very small change, but it's nice to just feel like you're not waiting around as much for just to watch bars fill up.
Yeah, just to sit there and it's like, is it gonna ding or is it gonna duff?
Just like
Ding, duff.
doof. It's
That is
actually a
the
really good way to put it.
official sound effect.
In fact, that's credit to you, right? They called you up and they were just like, hey, we need some sound effects for legendary gem upgrades.
It's like we're gonna make a comic about a guy running a rift, and we need to know specifically what the sound effect is that we need to write into little text bubble. So it's like, oh, it's duff,
It's definitely a
obviously.
duff.
Yep. Uh,
Well played.
well played indeed.
Ooh, I
Uh
have a
oh.
branch for
Ooh.
us.
Ooh. Ooh.
Actually, let me before I do this, are we done with our highlights of the patch? Is
Yep.
that is that pretty
Yep.
much? I
I
think.
think pretty much everything else we've covered, within like the last like month's worth of shows.
hmm just as a general recap, like 50 plus new items and legendary powers. They're adding tons of new bounties. By the way, we didn't even touch on that. Some really cool ones where you go into like another portal and there's certain objectives they have to do there. Obviously, set reworks, set dungeons where you take those sets and try and master the content inside of there. Very different for each set. Some of them easier than others. Um, Call the Sun's Despair, new recipe for Kanai's Cube. just so much awesome stuff that's going on here. So definitely get in. You want to, if you plan on, doing well in season 5, you definitely want to try the patch out before season 5 hits, just so you can familiarize yourself because there are so many changes. Um, but that kind of took us away from the great transition. But you were talking about pets.
Transition.
Transition, segue.
Transition.
And you were talking about pets, which are cosmetic in nature. And there are some cosmetic things that are actually available to be grabbed in the game right now if you love Blizzard.
Yes, yes, indeed.
So tell me, good sir, is there a game that you like out there where if you pre-purchase it, you can get some cool stuff for Diablo?
Um, Destiny.
Oh my God, you had one
Bat-
job.
Battlefront.
You had you done goofed twice.
Overwatch.
Hey,
Yay! I got it. Yay!
shot in the dark. So Overwatch, man, tell
Yeah.
us tell us about these sweet cosmetics that you can get.
So with Overwatch, they are going through, and of course we talked about this on the show previously, that with Overwatch you can go and get Mercy Wings, and it's kind of like one of those things that's a little bit of a spoiler,
Mm.
but if you have the console version, you can actually get it now
For free.
for 100% free. It's just there, boom, available to you. So all you have to do is just, go connect online, get the update, and boom, there you go. You have those beautiful, beautiful Mercy Wings. The
Oh
rest
my
of us
God.
on PC, we just have to like sit back and wait.
Yeah. Dude, I haven't seen this image. You just put up the Crusader wearing them. That looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I want that so bad. And honestly, I was thinking to myself, I was like, how much do I like Overwatch? And I like Overwatch. I like the idea of Overwatch, but I was like, is it really going to be worth it to purchase this mostly for the purpose of getting these wings? This image has confirmed it 100% yes.
Yeah. And the it's been a while since we talked about it, but the other cool thing is about those Mercy Wings is that I think it was the technical designers that created those wings for Mercy and Overwatch originally started on the Diablo team. So when the Diablo team approached them about what type of special crossover rewards there was going to be for the Origins Edition and the Collector's Edition, those artists were like, oh, we know both systems. Let us do it. We'll take care of it. And so these are actually the same texture files that the actual Mercy Wings in Overwatch are. So they're the same thing, just ported from one game over to the other.
That's why they look so damn good.
Yep, that they are. And also, while we're on the topic of crossover promotions, we do have a new um, item that
Competing
was added in,
interests.
competing interests for those that care. We have we all knew that we were going to get the Illidan wings with the World of Warcraft Legion, the Digital Deluxe and Collector's Editions, but they did just recently announce that there will be a new transmog available as well, where you'll get the Demon Hunter mask, the blindfold that goes across their eyes, and of course you have the little green glowing eyes underneath, the style made famous by Illidan, who was rocking that look before it was cool.
The
Um,
original
yeah,
hipster.
he was the original, and also you get to get little demon hunter horns as well. Though, then they of course show this on a Diablo demon hunter, who is a demon hunter before all these new guys start coming in Legion claiming to be demon hunters. Well, my demon hunter could kick your demon hunter's ass. Just throwing it out there because I can crit for over 1 billion, and your measly like 750,000 health is nothing on that.
The original Demon Hunter.
Uh huh.
Hipsters. So many hipsters.
Yep. Yep.
Dude, I'm looking. So this is the true test, right? Like before I was like, how much do I like Overwatch? Well, I don't even play World of Warcraft, but man, why they gotta make such cool stuff?
Yeah. All
Should
you
I
have to
just
do, you just have to get the digital deluxe edition.
you know
You know
what? Here
what?
it is. People all along were like, hey, I love cosmetics. You know what? If you opened up a store and I could just pay for them, I would totally do that. Well, guess what, guys? It's here. It's just $90 for two pieces of cosmetics, right?
Exactly. You want those wings in the blindfold? Oh, all you have to do is just like buy all the prior expansions and then get Legion, and there you go. But not just Legion. You have to get the digital deluxe, and then it can all be yours for this low price of $1.5 million.
Oh, and you get a couple bonus games, but don't worry about that.
Hey, who cares about playing World of Warcraft? I mean, by then you're gonna have the season 6 to contend with.
Oh man, that transmog. I like the wings, but that transmog's really cool.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I know it's like Illidan's wings and he's like that light purple. I don't like that shade of purple. The
Mm,
the the definitely the blindfold is rocking it, but yeah, I don't really like those wings too much.
that's fair. That's fair. Well, that's the great part, though, is that there are wings for everyone, it seems, at some point, because we've got Mercy wings, we've got Legion wings, we've got Original Collector's Edition wings, we've got Reaper of Souls wings,
Mm-hmm.
and coming now
And
with 2.4.
yeah, I was about to say, don't forget you have Heart of the Swarm wings.
Oh yeah, the bone wings, your favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Man, wow, yeah, I forgot. And there's so many options, but now you have even more options because 2.4 set dungeons, which we touched on just a tad bit, we actually got some new info in the 11th hour that was awesome because if you actually, we knew from BlizzCon 2015, if you mastered your set dungeons, you were gonna get those massive jade green wings. They look super badass. You have to complete all 24 set dungeons, so that's four for each class, six classes times four, 24. Um, Mastering, which means do all the objectives and kill all the enemies within the allotted time. But we found out that there are also pleb versions, if you will, of these wings, where all you have to do is just one of the objectives. You basically just have to like complete
Mm-hmm.
your set dungeon, which means like do an objective, make sure you don't succumb to fatal damage, etc.,
Yep.
and then just
And
get that achievement.
it's just completing a single objective in killing all the enemies, right? So you can't
Hmm.
you can't just kill all the enemies. You actually have to complete one of the objectives in the dungeon, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
And then you get these wispy green wings. They're kind of like the if you want to think about it, it's like the Bulbasaur of the set dungeon wings. And then if you want to go and master, you evolve into the Ivysaur, Venusaur, green, super big. Are you seeing the connection?
Yeah, I'm starting to see where you're going with this.
Are you liking the connection?
I'm liking it. It is the 20th anniversary coming up here.
There it is.
Yep.
There it is. So they're kind of cool. They remind me, they harken back to the original white Tyrael wings, kind of that same kind
Yeah.
of wispy.
It's basically it's kind of like a recolor. You have like the Imperious, the Wings of Valor, and the Tyrael's wings, and this
Hmm.
one's kind of like the greenish little tint to it.
Hmm. I like these, and to some degree, I actually almost like these better than the full mastery wings.
I think I'm actually kind of agreeing with you, and we have the Mastery wings here, which is kind of like they're the dragon wings with like a little bit of like a steampunk look to it. Um, which they're definitely cool. They're awesome. They really draw in attention with just the fact that like being webbed, that they are all oops, that didn't go over quite what I expected it to be. I'll try and see if I can resize this while talking. Oops.
Still looks good though.
Yep.
We get the idea.
There we go.
Yeah. So we were saying because they're webbed.
Yep. So they've got like the little webbing in there that you can see, and they've got the armor and the kind of like the little like mechanical connection, not quite bone. It's like metallic shaped in there.
Hmm.
It's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Something
Yeah.
to go through and show off.
Yeah, and they animate well too. Like they have like a very pronounced flap, if you will. It's like getting into like the art of the cosmetics, but like literally the art of the cosmetics. But it's cool. I'm honestly I'm looking forward to hopefully collecting. Gotta catch them all if you're gonna continue on the Pokemon theme, and just being able equip one on my barb and then one on my crusader and one on my. So when I'm switching between them all, I get to kind of see them all from here
Mm-hmm.
and there.
Which transmog, which wings do I want to wear today?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you got to make sure your dyes match the color of the wings, of
Hmm.
course.
And then at some point in a future season, we're going to be getting Andariel's wings.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Which are just arms, really.
Yeah, we won't go into that. She
Mm-hmm.
calls them wings. Who am I to disagree?
Sweet dreams are made of wings. Who am I to disagree?
I've got nothing.
All right.
I've got
The
nothing.
the only other news-ish item. I'm just gonna move. We're gonna ignore that and move right along.
Yes. Continuing on.
Yep.
Next topic.
Um, AGDQ. It
Yes.
happened. It was what, last week? Most of all of last week.
They pretty much all of last week. Yeah.
Yeah. They speedrun games for charity. That is the gist of the event. So it started not last, but last Saturday, and ran the entire week. And man, these guys perfect their runs to like the nth degree. What you're seeing in the marathons is some like safe strats because they obviously don't want to just be there like resetting their games for that perfect run or whatever.
Hmm.
But even then, the level of execution is just out of control. Like the manipulation of RNG, knowing exactly where to go. It's like watching, for those of us who are still in the Diablo realm, if you do the Speed Racer Conquest, it's like that but on crack for however long the game takes. Some runs, last as long as 5 minutes, and it's just the perfect execution of every single button press and move.
Hmm.
Some of them go for hours on end, like they speed run, and you're like, how can you speed run for an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours? But watch a speed run of like Final Fantasy VII, you will understand. It's
Yes. Yes, you
crazy.
will.
But how is this relevant? You're wondering. Well,
I ask myself.
Diablo. Do you ask yourself? You should ask yourself. I don't hear you asking yourself.
How is this relevant?
Oh, there it is. You're wondering. Diablo made the schedule this year for the first time, and not
Yeah.
just Diablo. Diablo 1 and 2.
Into. We got in there twice, everybody. Yeah.
Oh baby, and it was cool, man. Those guys, they know their game in and out. We got to see the infamous Diablo 1 duping methods.
Hmm.
We got to see some cool manipulation of teleporting, and all sorts of things that I didn't even realize you could do in D2.
I am going to throw this out there and just say I did not know that you could telekinesis the teleporting portals in the Arcane Sanctuary of a sorceress until I saw that video. One, it makes me feel bad that it is 15 years later and I'm still learning stuff about that game. And two, it makes me hate sorceresses that much more just because I hate the Arcane Sanctuary.
Tell me how you really feel, good sir.
Hatred. Nothing but
Uh,
hatred.
I didn't even know that you could skip the what's the name of the dude who you fight at the end of the Arcane Sanctuary?
The summoner?
The
Yeah,
summoner.
yeah, because it's not a requirement. You just have to click the tome to get the symbol for the tomb.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I sat there like he almost killed so many of my hardcore characters when I tried to go back and play that game again, and
Hmm.
just like I didn't even have to go through any of that. Dude, I hate my life.
There you go.
But yeah, so you
There you
guys
go.
should definitely check those runs out. They're really entertaining, and you might meet some new people that you want to follow their speed runs on Twitch.
Yeah. And the only slightly relevant topic, I tweeted about this, while going through and watching some of them. There was at one point one of the things that I really enjoy is when they do the like competitive speed runs. So you'll have all the players, playing a game.
Hmm.
So you'll have like four players set up on the screen, and you'll see them all go through and try to see who can complete it the fastest. And that's when as you were mentioning before, that they use kind of like the safer quote unquote um, speed runs because they're going through and they're trying to do it. They can't like reset the game or anything along those lines.
Hmm.
But those players that start getting behind begin to take some of the more riskier maneuvers because they have to try and make up frames. They have to gain time in order to catch up if they want to like stay competitive. And there was just one that I was watching that I really enjoyed because this one was like all new territory. It was Mario Maker.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was they had two teams of four people that had to go through and play these Mario Maker levels that they had never seen before. And so like really testing their skills more so than memorizing when to jump and do this and that. So it's really just testing their skill as a player. But this also reminded me while watching this some of what some comments that Wyatt had made in relation to like competitive grifts, and like once one team pushes ahead and has like a significant lead, it becomes less interesting because there's no way for the other team to catch up.
Yeah.
It is that's one of those ones that happened during the Mario Maker level that one team just pulled ahead, and they never the other side just never caught up. They continued to lag. Maybe it's just because they weren't as good of a team, but the lag between them continued to increase as the game went on, and so now you're just kind of really just watching the winning team, and it's no
Get
longer a
further ahead.
race, and you lose track of what the other side is doing, and it's kind of like, who really cares? And it's like there's just some things that Wyatt had said, you know like when they were trying to think of ways of doing like competitive grifts and such, how it isn't it sounds a lot more interesting than it is, just because of the fact that you can never unless you put something in the game, like we were mentioning, like something that you can risk to have a chance to catch up, where you can have the safe strategy where I've got a lead, I can go through and do, this way, and play it safe, whereas the other team has the opportunity, well, we can risk it. Something like it might be a multi-objective thing where I can either travel as a group of four, from one point to another and complete all of the objectives safely, or the team that's behind can now risk it and have each player break off and go solo, or try and do two at once, with two people going through and doing it, just so that way they have a chance at maybe catching up, because they have to risk it in order to get up there. That you can bring kind of some of that back. But it's interesting, actually kind of like seeing it play out instead of just hearing the words, but seeing it on the screen and being like, damn, he was right.
Yeah, he knows his stuff. What do you
Uh-huh.
know?
It's like he's like worked on games before, understands what he's doing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that we throw ideas around every now and again, like how do we make Diablo an esport? How do we make more competitive elements shine through? And I'm trying to think of like what would be a catch-up mechanic. Like what if you were able to give your character, a permanent power shrine, but
Mm-hmm.
you're now like able to be one shot or something like that. That doesn't work quite as well,
Yeah.
but it's the kind of idea where it's like, okay, you have like more power than the person you're racing against now, but you're also in a weaker state or something. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
little riskier, but it potentially could help you make up the gap or something like that. So
Yeah. I
it's
just like some of the ideas that I've had, like the having like multiple objectives, it makes it easier to balance if you're looking at it from like a team point of view, because
mm,
then you can also like, obviously these types of things would have to be like custom crafted specifically for like this event, so it'd have like a finely tuned like difficulty, and you could create pre-made characters with just a whole loads of gear and such to kind of level out that gear aspect for it, that you can go through and say, well, what gear that I want, and you can get something with preset power levels and a preset paragon level in order to tune the rift to or whatever. But then you kind of like combine elements of greater rifts where you actually have to run through and kill stuff while combining elements of bounties. So like you, instead of having to complete to like the 100%, maybe you have to on like one level kill a whole bunch of monsters in order to unlock the gate to the next level, and so then that has like that rift aspect to it where I have to kill a whole bunch of stuff, and then it goes to level 2, and then on level 2 I now have to like complete bounties where I have to go and activate all these shrines across the map. And
mhm.
so then it now gives you the chance that, well, what do I do? Do we split up and go and activate these shrines, or do we stay as a group and just hit them one at a time in order to play it safe? Because like each one could, all of a sudden drop like 3 elite packs, and you have to kill all 3 of the elite packs in order to actually click the shrine. And then the next level down you go is a boss, that you have to fight. Or you can also put things into the rifts where there's monsters that are sitting on an island that you have to kill. So you either need to teleport or ranged attacks. So you can't just take like all barbs in order to go through and do it, if you don't have like leap or something along those lines.
Yeah, it could be really interesting because when
Yeah.
you start to think about like roles. just say it's like all six classes represented, but they're all spec'd in very particular ways. Like maybe the
Hmm.
Crusader is just like low damage output, but very tanky. And then you have the Demon Hunter who's like just all damage, but like next to no
Hmm.
mitigation.
Yeah,
And
there's
so like what if you die, that brings you back to the beginning of the rift, but you can roll change. And now
hmm
you're gonna take the Demon Hunter because it's a riskier strat, but you're behind now and you're just gonna hope that you can like plow through versus like, oh no, you died, so now you're back and you're not helping your team, and so many different ways they could go about it.
Yeah, I think that there is a lot of capabilities that where you could make some sort of competitive nature with Diablo. It doesn't translate that well because you almost have to like custom make this stuff.
Yeah,
That doesn't really translate that well into like a seasonal or seasons, kind of like what you have in Hearthstone and StarCraft and such. It more be kind of like it's a invite only, where we'll invite some like big names to go and compete, in this particular like tournament or whatever, just as kind of like
exhibition.
an exhibition match or a show match or just something that shows that there's kind of like a little bit of like competitiveness that we can make out of this game. Unless that they added in, some sort of editor where people could make their own custom maps, for people to go through and try out or something along those lines.
Hmm. Hey, we can dream, right?
Yeah, we can dream. I mean, the way things are going, the sky's the limit. They've got I mean, hell, we got Kanai's cube, something that we hadn't even asked for. So I mean, the development team is really looking at different ways that they can really, um, you know, just like give like um, just in continually bettering the experience of playing the game and giving you more tools, more things that you could find fun in other stuff. So it'd be interesting, where they could potentially get ideas in different directions that they could take the game in order to keep players coming back, you know, from just, patch after patch.
Hmm.
I think we've kind of already, transitioned. Kind of somewhat transitioning to like our predictions for 2016. Not
Yeah.
that I predict any of this that we were just talking about for 2016, just kind of like throwing it out there about stuff
So
that the
confirmed that
the
is
dev
Nineball's
team.
prediction.
That is my prediction. We will have competitive grifts by the end of the year. Announcement at BlizzCon. There you go.
Boom.
There we go.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. I hope I'm right.
That would actually be
that would
awesome.
that would be that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Do you have any other less bold, perhaps, predictions?
I guess just kind of like going on some of the kind of on the safe side. Even though I know that they said they want to try and keep season lengths to 3 months. I think that we'll see an increase in the downtime between seasons, and they're not going to be. They'll probably be like maybe like 3.5 months or something along those lines. That I at least expect two more big patches, for 2016. So we'll probably get, again, probably like a grand total of like 3 seasons, throughout the entire year. And we'll see a patch, a 2.5 and a 2.6 in 2016.
So about like 9 months of season, 3 months of downtime, split, however you want.
Yeah, thereabouts. Yeah,
Okay.
thereabouts. I'm pretty sure that, like I said, we'll see, like 3.5 weeks on seasons, or who knows, we might get more seasons than that, but we might have a 2.12, or we'll have like a mini patch in a 3 month
Oh, okay.
season.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I can get behind that.
But yeah, definitely. I guess I'm expecting, for the entire year, we'll have the three big patches: 2.4, 2.5, and 2.6. Just as they continue to go through and, because they're giving us like a lot of content. I think that, it's really great to hear them go through and try to commit to these 3 month seasons and like the 3 months in between the content updates. Um, but like with Legion coming out and just the way that Blizzard is, a lot of times they'll pull um, some members from teams to go, and everyone kind of like sits and focuses in on like the big release. Not necessarily like actually like scavenging developers, but it's like taking from the QA team, or we need some technical artists to go through and continue to help us to rig these things, or someone to like go and finish up some textures on this real quick, and hey, can you spare a couple devs to go and help us tackle some of these issues that we've having because this mechanic isn't working right. Things like that that might kind of like pull a little bit of resources and kind of extend out some of the development times for the other teams.
Mm. Okay. Okay. Um, I don't have too many predictions myself. I want, I'm just gonna say it.
Hmm.
I think that we'll have a major Diablo announcement in regards to a Diablo game.
Hmm.
But whether that's an expansion to D3, Reaper of Souls, or D4, I leave to be seen.
You think that this will be the year?
I think this is going to be the year. I think
Yeah,
2016. It's a leap year. We get a new president. I think all the outside signs are right.
yeah. We shall see. We shall
Makes
see.
sense.
That's one of those ones where it's like I'd love to predict, but I just don't have any information with which to make that prediction.
This
You
this
know.
one's this is all from the heart. This is
Yeah.
no like facts, nothing to really like say, oh yeah, based on,
Mhm.
these Blizzard
There's,
happenings, it's gonna happen.
there is one other prediction that I would like to make. That just with all of the content updates that we've been going through and getting, I think that we might see, following up with Grey Hollow Isle, we might see some expansion of the story. Might not
Mm.
necessarily be, like an expansion, but we might see a little bit of an expansion of the story, being told like within a patch. As well as I would think that one thing that they could do rather easily is actually add in another follower or something that will help try and make followers a bit more relevant, um, outside of obviously they're big in solo play, but something more than just holding on to a unity, something that will make them a bit more engaging in for solo players that they could use to maybe kind of narrow that gap a little bit more between solo and group play.
I like that prediction. I'll piggyback that and I'll say perhaps we'll see some more follower specific items. So
Hmm.
like we have just the token that they all can get. What if there's actually like follower specific jewelry sets or something to that degree? I mean, there kind of
Yeah.
are if you think about, like you said, the
Uh-huh.
Unity.
Or how about
Or-
follower specific transmogs?
Whoa, whoa.
Did I just blow your mind? Did...
What if the followers get new slots?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, think about that.
I'm thinking about it and it's making me excited.
I like the idea of just another follower. I mean,
Hmm.
4 followers, six classes seems right. It would
Yeah.
change things quite a bit.
Yeah, and if we do get a new follower, my money's on Methan, the Necromancer. They'll finally bring the Necromancer into the game. They finally listened to all the cries, and we're gonna bring the Necromancer into Diablo 3. But just as the ultimate troll, you can't actually play him. He's just a follower.
How I feel like people want a new follower, but how mad would they be if that's the way it goes? They'd be
Oh.
so upset. Oh, I love it.
And
That's a
it would be awesome. You could go through and you could have like a special item that you can give him. That every time that you go to like click on like a town portal or a door, he casts a wall of bone in front of it and prevents you from
yes.
actually entering it.
Just to troll you.
You could call it like the troll totem.
Uh,
It's just like it has a shrunken head and it's just a troll head.
you're like just like old times.
Yep. Ah, oops.
Oh, I
Forgive
like
me.
it. Yeah, no, I guess I will, in line with kind of the story elements that you were saying, we'll probably see more of. I definitely don't disagree. I think maybe even it's safe to say another zone. I don't know that they'll do
Hmm.
too many more based on kind of the idea of, if there are expansions or new games being worked on, art's got to go there at some point. But
Hmm.
I would not be surprised actually to see like one more, maybe like an expanded zone of something that's already there or like a Gray Hollow Isle.
Yeah, I mean, at the rate that things are going, I would almost be surprised if we don't get a couple,
Hmm.
new zones that get added in at some point.
Yeah, they seem really keen on it, and
Hmm.
it's being well received, so
Yeah,
why not?
it's something that is just kind of like they're using to try and make some zones more interesting or more appealing. Like with Act 5, they're kind of addressing the whole bounties thing by adding in this new zone and putting a whole bunch of bounties in there, so you at least get to go through and see it and go there and experience it and such. We could see some other stuff. Maybe they could add, expand on. I guess they have like they could expand Act Four a little bit more and add some other place in heaven. Because if you read the book, Storm of Light, there's all these different places. Each area of heaven has a kind of like a feeling to it,
Mm,
that's really representative of like the kind of like the archangel that kind of presides over it. So like the halls of valor have all these massive like trophies and beast heads and such in it that kind of like show like the martial prowess of the angels, whereas the Hall of Justice is going through and showing scenes of judgment and punishment and such, that crimes, those who commit crimes will be brought to justice. And what would be really cool to see is like the Halls of Wisdom, because after Malthael's departure, before he came, the Archangel of Death, that it had dried up, that
mm.
all the wisdom had dried up, and so it became this dark realm that kind of like the light of the Silver Spire didn't touch as much, and the light was kind of faded in that area. And what used to be, all these massive like pools of water and reflection had all just dried and withered, and all the angels of wisdom had departed because they went to go and follow Malthael. And it could be a really interesting part to go and build upon that, or see that. It's like, let's go and see, we've seen like heaven corrupted, but what about heaven decayed?
Mm.
you know
Could be really cool. I'm hyped thinking about it.
mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Yep.
All right, well, I am personally out of predictions at this point.
Yep, you just throw more lore things at me and I'll just keep talking, so we can move on. Transition.
Transition. All right. Well, we should talk to the people a little bit because they're trying to talk to us.
Yeah, let's do it.
All
I'll hop
right.
in there.
Community feedback section. I've got our first one here from a longtime fan of many Diablo podcasts, good old Korova.
Ah.
He's writing in and he's saying, "What's up, Nine Ball and Leviathan?" He normally tweets, but this is a little bit too long, and so he wanted to give some feedback from a very casual, solo only player. He says he plays about an hour a day, early mornings before he goes to work, and the rest of the day is work and family priority. He finds himself in this situation where he needs mats for the cube from one or two specific bounties, and when he logs on, those usually aren't the ones that are his bonus acts for getting those legendary materials. And unfortunately, you can't log out and in again to see if the chance changes. And actually, that wouldn't help you anyways because it changes every hour now. So you would have to make time somehow change when you log out. But he says it sucks that Blizz kind of locks me in for that specific bounty, for that specific act of bounties. So it'd be nice if you could choose the starting act instead of being locked down into a specific one.
Mm-hmm.
Love the show. Hope to be able to contribute some sweet items next season. You miss your items, man. You used to get some crazy Demon Hunter stuff back in the day. So looking forward to seeing those. Greetings from Switzerland. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like when they made the shift from it going from, one day of an act being the bonus act to now 1 hour being the bonus act, that was kind of their come to terms with this exact problem. I don't know if they'll go one more step further and give us total control, because then you would really just skip stuff that you didn't want to do. I mean, eventually you do have to do them all, so maybe
Mm-hmm.
that kind of circumvents that problem. But I don't know, I could just see it being less reasons to visit certain ones you don't like, I guess. I don't know. How do you
Mm-hmm.
feel?
Well, it is one of those ones where the way that all the cube recipes work, since they all require the same amount of mats. The only thing that would require you to like specific farm other mats is if you're also crafting sets.
Yeah.
But if we're looking at it just from the aspect of the cube, since you require one of everything, I guess it really would kind of make sense for it to just uh, any act that you do, just give like that double bounty. I mean, it removes kind of like that bonus, that kind of like rewarding feeling. It's like, oh, I'm doing the bonus act, so I get rewarded for the bounty. I get rewarded for playing like in a certain way. But I guess it would be just one of those where if I only have the time to run in and do like a single act's worth of bounties, if it isn't the bonus act, then I'm kind of being, I guess. like penalized for it.
Hmm. Yeah, this is one of those instances where because a benefit
Mhm.
exists, it makes your non-benefited time feel
Mhm.
worse.
Yeah, or something that happened to me, like when you're solo farming and you disconnect
Mm.
while going through and completing a bounty, and then when you log back in, it's reset back from the beginning. And so, like, I ended the season with a ton more Act 5 and Act 4 mats than 3, 2, and 1 because there was this particular instance where I got disconnected like 4 or 5 times after completing Act 5 and Act 4, and had just never got to any of the bounties for acts 1, 2, and 3 in that little spree. So I ended up with like a ton more of those mats just sitting on me, and it's like I would have to go through and just focus farm those 3 acts in order to make parity again.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. There is that kind of because that the heart of the idea is that you would go through, do all of them, chase that bonus as it changes from act to act. But there are so many instances, like you just pointed out, where there's going to be disjointed play. You don't have the time to go through all five. You get disconnected. A friend wants you to come and jump into their Ubers. Something that just kind of distracts you from doing that full 5 act run. So yeah, maybe this is something. Either you just take the bonus away and up the rewards across
Hmm.
the board, or I don't know.
Yeah, I think it might be, ready for that time. Especially, we're already going through and making certain aspects of the game a little bit easier, a little bit more time friendly, like adding in, the arrow to point you on where it is that you're going, where the key warden is, just to kind of as a time saver. If they go through and do that, and then but then it's like, I guess, what's the point of doing the bonus act? Do we
Hmm.
need a bonus act? Or can we just go through and do whatever we want. I guess it's nice for a completely new player that they're like, oh well, what do I do? Oh well, there's a bonus act here, so I guess I should go and complete it.
Yeah.
But if that's like one of the sole reasons for doing it, it could just be the increased gold and items and maybe other crafting mats or such for completing that bonus act. But then the actual materials for the cube is always the same regardless of whether you're doing the bonus or not.
Hmm. I like that actually.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe that will be something that gets, they seem to like to do tweaks to adventure mode here and there. So maybe that'll be something that gets targeted in the future.
Yeah. Our next email, this one comes in from Lion Sword, who I did see around in the chat earlier. Let's see. I don't know if he's still in the chat now, but he starts off. Been listening to you guys all year, but this is my first time emailing you. So I just want to make it my first official sup fellas.
Sup,
Sup
fellas?
fellas. And that even though he's enjoy listening to us, he's never made it in for the live show, but he listens to us on iTunes all the time. So definitely want to welcome you for making it out here to the live show. He wants to tell before he gets into it. He wanted to go through and read about his 2015 year in review. He wants to give a little bit of history about himself, and that he's been playing since Diablo 1. So he's been playing since he was 16. And he's now 33. And that he really enjoyed Diablo 1. He only ever beat the game once, even though he put countless hours into it. And Diablo 2 happened at the end of his high school and into his college years, and put an extremely large amount of hours into that game. And so I was super excited about getting Diablo 3. Loved Inferno, but maybe it was initially too hard, and obviously, like many others, just disliked the RMAH. But Loot 2.0 brought him back into the game. He's been loving seasons ever since, and he wanted to go through and relate his favorite moment for season 4, or for his favorite moment, in this like kind of like past year, but his favorite moment for season 4 in particular was his solo 60 clear. you
Nice.
know, he
Nice.
had to go through and get an ancient, the Fist of Az-Tarask, grind up a whole bunch of gym levels in Paragon, but finally was able to do it with the help of a power and conduit at the beginning of the Rift. But he's just said that it was great achieving it because he had attempted it at least 50 or 60 times before finally getting it done. So for him, this was like one of his ultimate achievements, for season four. And then, but he wanted to give a rundown of like his top four moments from 2015. Um, Coming in at number four, his first incense torch that he found in season two, because he is a monk for life,
Yeah.
so it's always a big thing. And at the time, that was huge. That was like kind of like the build defining item.
Yeah, his make or
Um,
break.
yeah. Number three, seasonal leveling process with his friends on the first night. Always so much fun. Definitely agree there.
Oh
There's
yeah.
nothing quite like it. His number two moment, as we just said, was his season four solo 60 completion. But his number one top moment for 2015 was Leviathan coming back to the Westmarch workshop.
Oh man. Oh
The feels,
shucks.
the feels, man.
That's awesome, dude. I'm glad. I'm glad that I could be a part of your top moments from 2015. That's legit.
Definitely.
Thank you. Oh, feels good, man. Feels good. Yeah, so hopefully, season five will be just as hype for you. 2016 will hopefully be just as hype, and you'll be able to keep stacking up those feel good moments. Keep it rolling.
Keep it going, and hopefully 2016 will be better than 2015,
That's
and
great.
that the hype and the excitement will ramp up with every new patch.
Hype. Can't do it as well with no voice. It's like hype.
Hype.
Uh, all right, we're moving on to more familiar faces. We have an email here from Sergeant Psycho, our Iron Wolf in the desert, who's now back home. He starts out with, "What's up, fellas? Strictly speaking about Diablo, the best part of 2015 for me was the clan welcoming me back. Several people flat out saying, 'You're famous!' while taking that first step through the town portal. Town ranks as number one. The back and forth with the shop over my time in the Desolate Sands is up there as well. You guys provided me with one more thing to look forward to while making my way week by week over the last year. So thank you all again. Good luck in season five." Awesome, man.
Aw,
Glad we
very
could be there
nice.
for you.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was always
Glad.
cool to see. Sorry, go ahead.
I was about to say, and it's glad that you're back here with us now.
Yeah. It was cool to see the pictures and dude, this guy is one of my, it's gonna sound weird, but one of my New Year's resolutions. He is it because he tore through some books out there, and I want to read more in
Mm.
2016. So
Yeah,
hopefully that makes sense.
that's a noble goal. I have a stack of books actually on my nightstand right now that I intend to try and get through.
So it's tough, man. So many good things out there with just an awesome game to always play, though.
Hmm. Our next email comes in here from longtime listener Landshark. She wanted to go through and write in her some of her feelings for 2015 as kind of like a year in review. That the year itself was like super crazy for her. Um, Season one had kind of like threw her off seasons, didn't really enjoy it, had a bunch of real life problems, and they just were so caught up with stuff that she and her husband nearly forgot to even play in season two, period. But season three and four got back into the game, they were really solid for them. And so they were able to kind of like go through and start fresh. I really enjoyed like the set redesigns and such, and it's actually creating a dilemma for her for what to go into the season five with all the new redesigns about what to play. What is it that I want to do? And some of her feedback of just going back and looking at this year, one of her takeaways is something that we observed, kind of like in our year in review, was just how important Paragon levels had become, and that it had made a lot of public games get elitist.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but the upside of that is did kind of like focusing more of the time on real life friends and clanmates, community members, and such, as well as the good people that she met in public games. Um, and while no real like major stories to go through and share, she does remember drooling over her husband's perfect as Tarask last season, and then that became her white whale of never being able to find one. despite having to go through and try and constantly make it. Just having some fun with a ground hazard barb relying on like earthquake, seismic slam, avalanche, and just led to way too many geology puns on her couch because she was going through and playing that on the PS4. Um, but yeah, so overall, it was kind of like just going through and
Oh wait, no, no, no. You have to read that pun that she gave us because that's terrible. There's oh,
okay.
it's so bad.
But I did discover the fun of a ground hazard, earthquake, seismic slam, avalanche barb on the PS4, which led to the exasperation and fury generation as I made goofy geology puns on my couch. Sorry, it just seemed geological. Can you fault me?
Oh God.
There you go.
Oh, so good. So bad.
Yep. So that even though some of the sets were disappointing and the season 4 lag spikes ate her poor laptop alive, she was very
Mm.
eager for season 5 in 2016 and just Diablo 3 as a whole. Keep up the great show. Blizzard will keep up with a great game, and the rest of us will play on. Thank you for a good year of podcasts, Landshark.
Awesome. Feels good, man.
Feels good indeed.
It's funny to hear her mention the white whale that became her fist of Asteras that she just could never find. Because, like we were saying before the show started, this season coming, season five, kind of feels like a return to form of season one. You back on the DH,
Hmm.
myself back on the Crusader, and we had our white whales as well, like the Blade of Prophecies and the Tasker and Theos.
Thank goodness I never have to find those on my Demon Hunter ever again.
That's what I was gonna point out. So now you can actually play Marauder this time around and never worry about it.
Never worry about it. I can actually play it effectively without having to worry about getting that one piece. That one piece. Uh,
I'm kind of sad though, because it was a little bit fun watching you get frustrated with it.
yeah, it's still to this day kind of. I still see every once in a while in clan chat someone will go through and mention something about a Tasker and Theo when somebody finds one.
Well,
Not as much as it used to, but
yeah,
yeah,
it will
it's
live on.
touching. Thank you for reminding me of my pain.
That's what clam chat's there for.
Exactly.
So we have another email that came in, which started out as a clan invitation request, and this person has then been accepted into the clan. This one's coming in from Demos. He says, "Greetings, Westmarch overlords. My name is Sean, longtime Diablo franchise player. Since, wow, the summer of '97, I'd imagine. It seems like yesterday. He's been a Westmarch workshop listener since the Storytime with Wyatt episode. Oh, wow. When was that? He's saying maybe April. When was that actually? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, that was a while ago. I because
It
that was
was
leading into season
season
3, I think it
3.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Damn, I hadn't even thought about that in quite some time. Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely out there. That was episode 46 on April 16th.
Nice. Nice. Mid-April. Crazy.
Mhm.
Crazy, crazy. He says he's been at the very least a member of the workshop community since then. However, during this past season, his clan that housed a small group of real life friends, they decided to break apart. There were some unhappy with the D3 direction, others going off to greener pastures. You know how it goes.
Oh yeah.
So with 2.4 coming around the corner slash here now, it's season five kicking off, and he said in less than a little less than 2 weeks, which lets you know we're a little behind in emails here,
Slightly.
just
Slightly.
slightly. Season five kicking off in 2 days, basically. He figures now is as good of any time to jump on board with us fine folks. He's mainly softcore player, but his past season journey, this is one of my favorite moments because I was hoping this would happen. His past season journey having to hardcore level a character. He tasted some of the delicious hardcore dark side, and now he's gonna tinker with it in season five. So the plan worked. Thank you, whoever decided to make leveling a character to 70 in hardcore part of the seasonal journey. He doesn't want to push, he doesn't look to push the leaderboards. He finds fishing for adequate rifts an unnecessary chore. He doesn't really enjoy the Paragon grind either, and luckily that appears to be moot after 2.4 drops. A bit. There still will be some Paragon grinding.
Hmm.
However, season journey set dungeons, get general gear hunt, bounties, gem leveling mats, right up the flagpole for him. He enjoys helping as much as he can, loves that sense of community, and he feels like it's kind of fading away. So he's hoping that joining the clan reinvigorates that feeling for him. Thanks for the time and consideration, and also the past several months of Diablo related entertainment. Nice to have you back, Leviathan. Thank you. But we need more leg segments, lore segments with Lunatic. I agree. We need that crazy fellow to grace us with some interesting tidbits again.
Yeah, yeah. Have him. Maybe we could have him do an opening one day.
Ooh, how nice would that be for the
That
people?
would be. He seems. I've noticed that he's been active again lately. He's beginning to settle in and be actually seeing him online and on Twitter and such.
Mm-hmm. We'll start to slowly pull the rope back in a little bit.
Yes, yes, we will. Our next, we have a couple emails. This one is coming in from Dan plus plus. His first email is just going through and introducing himself that he is originally a player from the EU and just recently over to the American servers in order to go through and play, and that he actually just wanted to mention that he found our show thanks to the Ink Gamers podcast. So thank you over there to Flux and such for love and mentioning us on occasion. For
Shout
those that
outs.
for those that don't know, both of us kind of got our start, through Flux and the Ink Gamers podcast. We both were kind of semi-regular guests on the show back in the day, and that's kind of what got us, our start as being a part of the Diablo community.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely great, and obviously, Flux's show, the Diablo podcast, is great. Great show to go and listen to, as well as DiabloII.net is another great news source to look up for, Diablo information, editorials, and stuff like that from time to time.
Totally agree.
Yeah. And he also just wanted to know if he could come and join our clan, which we did accept him. He's now, he's now a full-fledged Westmarch workshopper, clan mate here, getting ready to start season 5. But he did have one question that he has been having a huge urge in order to play the older Diablo games, but because he's running Windows 10, he's been having a lot of problems trying to get it to run. And now the problem is that he goes through and says that he did find a way to trick the game into running, using like the 3D glide, the glide wrapper, which is a program that kind of like tricks your system into being able to run older games, which is unfortunately like the only thing that I've found as far as being able to actually play D2 on newer systems. The only things to go through and check, because I don't know what else you have, is just to make sure that the game itself is set to run in Windows XP compatibility mode, and that it is running in reduced color mode, and is set to 16-bit colors, and to also to disable display scaling with high DPI settings. I don't know if any of those settings you have gone through and checked while running 3D Glide. But it's one of those ones where at least to go through and check that to see if you can get it to run. It isn't designed. It's not really ready to go through and play on Windows 10. So different graphics drivers and different configurations are going to cause problems when you go and do that, just because it's not supported. Um, but I guess a little bit of good news is that they hopefully, I don't know when this will come through, but they are looking to try and update the older games, Diablo 2 included, to run on newer systems. No clue when or how that's going to happen, but it is something that might happen, one day. Maybe that will be one of the things to come true for 2016.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's not a bad prediction to throw in there too.
Yeah, not a bad one at all. So unfortunately, I don't have anything more to go through and help you out there, but just make sure that you've double checked those settings for your game.
Yeah, and report back. Hopefully it works out for you. We're moving right along here. We have another double set of emails. This one's coming in from longtime listener, Longshot GM. He's here in the chat with us as well. His first one contains some language, some R-rated language here. It says, "Misa says, sup fellas." Fellas up, what not
Ah,
down, do or do not. Um, regarding that, or moving on past that, before we hurt Nine Ball too much, his question mostly revolves around the legendary potions. He says that he's been finding a couple more, which he thought he had them all, but so be it. Now he's finding some more. Um, he wants to know which potions are best for which classes. Best for which classes. Sorry, I'm totally losing my voice. He was curious what we use, what we think, for regular play, bounties, greater rifts, etc. Um, I don't know how you feel about this nine ball, but for the most part, I only really pay attention to the potion selection if I'm gonna push like GR super hard.
mm-hmm,
And that's just because I want to make sure that I'm min-maxing like every little last thing. And so usually for classes that I feel get stuck mobily and don't have a reliable way of escaping, like let's say for instance, Waller is something that very much moves your or very much curtails your movement.
mm-hmm,
And movement is vastly important to survivability. Just being able to reposition kind of as you will, as you feel. Um, that really raises the importance of a Kool-Aid for me. So I usually put a Kool-Aid on like my barbs if it's like going to be a furious charge barb or
mm-hmm.
a DH sometimes because they get really stuck with walls and they don't have many skills that let them go through the walls. Um, if I'm running like a Crusader that's doing Seeker of the Light, I might prioritize the one that gives me more life per hit because
Mm-hmm.
that's a build where you're getting so many
You're
hits off
attacking
so
so
quickly.
fast.
Exactly. So I kind of like to synergize them in with what the build is like does well or has a weakness
Mm-hmm.
for. And if it comes to like the diamond or the tower potions, the difference between all res and armor, usually I want to use the one that's going to buff up the thing that they don't have. So like a strength class, I'd probably use a diamond potion. If it's a intelligence class, I'd probably go with the armor potion.
Mm-hmm. That
So
that one kind of is easily is whichever one gives you the greater amount of toughness when activated.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, so just looking at the numbers, popping up your character
Mm-hmm.
sheet and taking some damage, pop the potion.
Yeah,
So,
that it really is one of those. It's like you're using your potion, when you're on the verge of death. You're in an emergency, and so you need something that's going to be able to address that situation. So, like you're saying, like with a Seeker of the Light, you probably don't really need like a Kool-Aid or something in order to get you out of the sticky situation, just because you probably will be running Falling Sword to be able to reposition yourself. But you need to up your sustain so that way you can keep going. Whereas something like a Demon Hunter, if you get caught in a bad scenario, or I want to say like my last like two Demon Hunters that have died, besides the one that I lost while changing gear in a rift because I was an idiot, was because of I got stuck in a waller and I couldn't get out because I was just surrounded by elites, and it was the waller that killed me. Whereas
Mhm.
I've been on all of my demon hunters since then. It's just like I'm just gonna go and put that Kool-Aid on right now in order to go and get through it. So it's
Exactly.
just like you said, addressing make sure that you address your weaknesses. What is it that is going to cause you to pop a potion, and what might best suit that situation in order to get you out of it or survive through it until some other cooldowns come back on.
Absolutely. And then the second email that we received from a long shot, he said he was watching a YouTube video on some 2.4 patch notes. And one of the things that they were talking about was re-rolling some of the legendary items, like your Dead Man's Legacy, in order to get some of the new fixes. Now, for Dead Man's, it's not necessarily that there's a new affix, but some of them are coming with actually, I guess it is that there's a new fix. I guess not a new legendary power per se, but some of them got those bonuses like we were talking about. What was it, 2 shows ago now? With just like flat, massive bonuses to skills. So like for Dead Man's, you're going to be getting a multi-shot bonus damage on there as a new affix.
Mm-hmm.
For your a hammer or yeah, Hammer of the Ancients, your Gavel of Judgment has one for Hoda now. Blade of Prophecy got one for Condemn, etc. So yeah, that is actually one of the better ways to go about forcing yourself into a new version of that. You could take pre 2.4 Blade of Prophecy, whatever one that you want to get for that new affix that's on there. Use the cube to re-roll a legendary, which is an expensive recipe, but you only really need to do it once if it's non-ancient anyways, because whatever version you get, it's going to be way better than the non a fixed boosted one.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you would use the cube for it. You use those legendary mats. I think what is it, 5 of each, and then 50 Forgotten Souls.
Yeah, in order to reforge it.
Hmm. So Longshot goes on to say that he's been doing bounties for a few weeks here, trying to get 100 mats each um, for 500, and he wants to cube 100 items without hassle later. He's at 380 out of 500. Has been doing riffs. He can just and he hasn't messed with the cube in a few weeks. I was curious what that was talking about in the video. So yeah, that's pretty much the long and short of it there. Um, he says, knowing my luck, they'll have a community buff for double mats this weekend. So if you hear me scream, it's for all the mats that he farmed.
Yeah.
You never know, man. You never know.
I wonder how many community buffs we'll get this season. So, in season 4, we only had a single community buff for that double mat weekend.
That's right. Yeah, it's been there's no rhyme or reason to them really. It seems like what
Mm-hmm.
was it? Season 3, I don't think we had any, and then season 4 we just had the one, and I think what was it? Season 1 had two, if I
Mm-hmm.
recall. But I
Yeah,
mean that was also the longest season, so I don't know.
we can we can we can expect something for the anniversary.
Oh yeah, is that gonna fall within the 3 month span? Oh, I guess you're saying
What?
the Reaper
Well, I guess
Souls.
yeah. We'll have the March for the Diablo 3 anniversary,
Mm-hmm.
which should which would fall within this season.
Yeah, for the Reaper Souls anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess yeah. We'll see. What will they do? What did they do last time, actually? Do you remember? I don't want to
It
put you on the
was the
spot.
cow level.
That was for Diablo 3 though.
Yeah, I guess they didn't do anything for Reaper, did they?
Not that I can remember, but I have the world's worst memory, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Hmm. I have to go back and check. Hopefully, we get something cool though.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I think that they didn't do anything this last year for the Reaper of Souls anniversary.
Hmm.
I am trying to remember.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank.
Oh no! Wait. I'm trying to find it. Yeah, they did a 100% bonus gold find and XP for the Reaper of
uh,
Souls. They did it for that whole. They did it for a full week.
okay. That would actually be pretty welcome in this patch, just because
Hmm.
gold's going to be so important. So there you go.
Yeah. So there we go. I guess we can look forward to something for the Reaper of Souls anniversary coming up in March.
Fingers crossed. It's a good one.
Yeah, we can go do that. And then I guess our last email here is coming in from Uluru, and he's going through and saying he's writing from his work email address because he's in China and Google Gmail is banned, so he's writing in from a different email. But luckily, BattleNet servers are not, so he can continue to play. He has since joined the clan. And he's been really enjoying playing with the other clan mates. Lately, while waiting for 2.4 to go live, he was going and trying to get some achievements done in leveling gyms with Shepard. As well as going through and having some other clan mates kind of just coming along for the ride and helping them get gyms and such done. And he says that being in the clan is really like a family. Everyone is nice and very helpful in going and playing. But he didn't write the email for that particular reason. It was more so that he had an item to show off, just as you're saying. To kind of answer Longshot's question, he had a very well rolled ancient Aquila cuirass, and so I'll be showing that here in a minute when we get into the items of the week. But it's like he found it rolled extremely well, just like 4 days too soon. right before
Yeah.
2.4 and would have gotten through. Now he could go and re-roll it in order to get the new property for the defensive mechanic that's being added on to it if he just wants to solely get it for cubing. But chances are it's not going to be ancient. And it's not going to roll with the ranged attack reduction and such.
Right, right.
Yeah. I just have one question. This is going to seem incredibly off, but while you're in China working, do you know a Mike Leth by any chance? Random question, but yeah, send in your answer. Um, Just
What?
just throwing that out there, just in case he might have run into him. I'm not going to say what company he works for or anything like that, but I do know
Oh,
someone else that works um, in China for that company. So
gotcha.
just
I
seeing if
was
you know him. Small world. I mean, if he's met him. So
I thought you just meant like, there are like how many like millions of billions of people in China. You're just like, hey, have you run into this one guy? Just this one guy for no random reason at
no,
all?
there is a reason for it. There
Okay.
is a reason why I'm asking that question. He might have, and if I mean if you do, also say hi for him. Hi for me. He probably won't know me as Nineball, but he will know me as Whitney. Just and that will probably be very interesting to just go through and be like, hey, and he says hi, and send me a picture of his face if you do know him. If you don't know him, then I mean this last 30 seconds of conversation is pointless. But just yeah, throwing it out there.
Awesome.
Yeah. Ah, all right. And so let's see. I think that kind of wraps it up for our emails for now.
hmm
And we can go through and jump into items of the week.
Items of the week. Ugh.
Speaking of week,
Yeah.
no, no harm intended in that one. I
Uh-huh.
feel bad for you, man. Feel bad.
Feels bad, man.
Feels bad. Uh, So our first item that we have is another item got sent in from Karsa. Wanted to go and send us in this ancient gold skin that rolled with 637 strength, has been re-rolled for 648 vitality, came with the perfect 130 resistance to all elements, as well as the secondary bonus, of course, 100% extra gold for monsters, and the legendary property of a chance for enemies to drop gold, along with 3 sockets.
This is gonna be awesome when someone's trying to put together their like Legacy of Nightmares ancient gold find setup, Put
Yeah.
throw the augment on there for some more main stat and go to town. Maybe I don't know if this is for Crusader in particular, but there's gonna be a Legacy of Nightmares thing with our pets, our bowmen or whatever. So
Hmm.
I could totally see something working with that.
Yeah. I think he played a barb.
Oh, boo. But I guess you could do a pet thing there too with your Call of the Ancients.
Yep, there you go. So yeah, still pets and more pets.
More pets, more
It's the name of the
dogs.
game. For the 20th anniversary of Pokemon, every class in Diablo 3 is getting pets.
I love it.
Yep, absolutely great. Next, as I was mentioning, Luru's Ancient Aquila Cuirass. This one has rolled with 616 intelligence, 587 vitality, 693 armor, which for an intelligence class, like his wizard, is better than all resist. It rolled with increases explosive blast damage, which he mentioned would be excellent to re-roll and do 3 sockets, and with the secondary bonus of reduces ranged attack damage by 7%, and then monster kills grant 220 experience. And then if this was reforged or dropped 4 days later, would also have the ability that when, I think it's above 75% resources, you gain the damage reduction.
That one actually got an adjustment in the last pass on the PTR, so now it's 90 to 95%. If you're
Uh,
above 90 to 95% full resources, then you get that damage reduction.
yeah, so there you go. And then our final item of the week was sent in via Twitter. This little screenshot was sent in from Grimnaldus. It's Ancient Scorn, which I think we actually showed an Ancient Scorn like a couple weeks ago, and just mentioning how we don't see many Scorns anymore. And then here we have another one to show. This bad boy clocks in at 4,206 DPS. Has been re-rolled for 10% weapon damage. Came with 1,459 strength. The property of the 34% chance to inflict a bleed for 390% weapon damage, and the secondary properties of 17,000 life after each kill, 2.5% chance to stun on hit, and Ramlana Ding Dongs for a socket.
Indeed.
Yep. So definitely no longer quite the build-defining item that it once was. It still is definitely a great starter weapon. That would be something that you would be absolutely ecstatic to find in like your first like Torment 1 Rift, tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but on Friday. You
Hmm.
have something like that go through and drop and be like, yeah, okay, I can accept this.
Oh yeah, that's like all right, and moving on to T6, T7.
Exactly. It's like that's a great thing. Everything has a purpose at some point or another.
That's right.
And then I only wonder when they finally get around to all of the revamps, what are they going to add on to like the Scorn in order to make a bonus? Like what type of property might they come around to revamp onto the Scorn?
No, I'm waiting. Manticore got its redemption this patch with um, what is it?
Cluster arrow.
Cluster arrow bonus
Yep.
damage. So, Scorn's next, right?
Yeah, of course, of course. It'll have something done that will make it like the best two-hander in the game. Increases damage against elites by 50 to 60%.
Whoa, new furnace.
New furnace. Uh, we couldn't figure out a way to balance it. We just wanted to make it better than the furnace.
Oh God, please don't do that. Of all the things Nine Ball suggested tonight, just ignore that one.
Uh-huh. Yeah, they've been doing actually such a good job with like balancing items. I know this is something we talked about a little bit when we were talking about like how like the itemization system is like pinholing or pigeonholing builds where it's like you have to use this because it has a non-legendary property that increases skill damage, and then so now any of the other things that you would use you have to use the cube for. And I mean it's not a bad way because it's reducing the usefulness of the furnace because you now have your damage through the item you have equipped, and then you have your property that you want through the cube. And for most classes and builds, there's something else out there with some effect or property or something that triggers on a skill use that's better than the furnace, whether it be like Dawn for permanent vengeance, or Star Metal Kukri, for a witch doctor and being able to run around with a bazillion big bad voodoos. There's just a lot of things out there that you have the options to, and the furnace really isn't, never really needed to be adjusted. It could be left where it was and didn't make as big of an impact in this season as I originally thought it might.
Yeah, no, it's very true. It's kind of the nice thing that we're starting to see. Like it, I feel like we were preaching this probably early 2015, but just, keep waiting for more of these big patches, keep waiting for more of these items, because it's gonna eventually all turn into this big ball of choices and things that should make there be a bit more diversity. It's gonna take time to get there, we kept saying, but I feel like we're really, look back 1 year from today, we've made vast strides into crazy diversity. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, totally.
Mhm. And
Um,
Longshot, I just do want to mention, he did mention in his email, I skipped over this part, that he had a suggestion for feedback of potentially taking questions from our clam chat, as we like to call it, when people hang out with us in the Twitch stream, and doing a live community feedback style thing, maybe as a new feature to the podcast.
hmm That's something
He's,
we could consider doing.
yeah, that'd be something different.
Yeah. Oh, and with that, it's like just as I was going through and typing in chat there, if you have any feedback or items that you want to send into the show, by all means, go ahead, drop us an email. It's westmarchworkshop@blizzpro.com if you want to see your email or item shown or read here on the show. And as we go through and begin to get into our outro, I do also want to give a shout out again to Lion Sword, who sent us an email earlier and is with us here in chat right now. Went through and gave us a 5-star review on iTunes. Wanted to say a big thank you, and one of his suggestions, basically is for us in order to try and be better show hosts to try and get more info on wizards and monks because he feels that that's one aspect of the show that we're a little bit lacking on. Where even though I've juggling Demon Hunter and Witch Doctor and yourself are kind of Crusader and Barb. Wizard and Monks are kind of being left in the background. Whether it's going through and just learning more and focusing more on those particular classes, or getting in another voice to chime in every once in a while in order to talk about what's going on in their world. You know, that's something that we can definitely go through and try and do, you know, going forward into 2016 and give better coverage for, you know, all six of the classes here in the game. I mean, Longshot is saying that he would give us 6 stars if more singing. We'll see about that one. But yes,
Yeah.
definitely thank you. And also, as a special note, Lion Sword was our 42nd review. And any of you who are science fiction fans out there will probably know the significance for the number 42, which is a nice little special thing in there.
Boom.
Yep.
There it is.
Um, But yes, as I was saying earlier, if you ever have any feedback, items that you want to submit, please go send us an email, westmarchworkshop@blizzpro.com. If you're interested in going through and joining the clan, we also suggest that you go through and drop us an email so we can learn a little bit more about you before we go through and accept applications. We do have some spots open at the moment, but as the season gets going, that's going to fill up really quickly, and we will definitely be giving preference of those limited clan spots to people that send us an email, just so that way we're inviting people in that we know a little bit more about, as opposed to a nameless face. Not that we have anything against you, and we will eventually let everybody in as spaces free up. It's just the more we know, the more we know about you, the more we have an idea of who you are and that you'd be a good fit in the clan. Um, you can also always follow the show. You can follow us on Twitter. We're at the WM Workshop. You can always find the live show if you predominantly listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube. We do a live show every Wednesday night. It's 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/BlizzPro. And while you're here, go ahead, click that follow button and check out all the other offerings that we have. Sunday nights is Well Met, our Hearthstone podcast. Tuesday nights is the Heroes Power Hour, where we go through and talk Heroes of the Storm. A lot of big, interesting stuff coming for Heroes of the Storm in 2016. So I would definitely keep an eye on the Heroes Power Hour. Wednesday, of course, is us at the Westmarch Workshop for all of your Diablo news. And Thursday nights is the Payload podcast, where they go through and focus in on Overwatch and talk about everything coming in there. Hopefully, we'll get more info once the beta comes back. You can also find more about the things that we talked about on the show, as well as a lot of other interesting articles at diablo.blizzpro.com. We are also in game. We are the Blizz Pro clan, as well as if you don't want to leave your current clan or you're waiting to get in, we have an in game community, which you can find us as the Westmarch Workshop. Go jump in there and go through and chat with us. I think the TeamSpeak server is kind of kaput, but we've moved on to Discord now at this point.
Sounds
I don't,
about sounds about right.
I don't know if you have the Discord information on you. I do not at the moment. I can't find it.
You really just
Uh,
go to
It's,
Discord, I think, and just search for Blizz Pro,
yeah, I
maybe.
know we had the JR was setting up a URL. I don't know if it actually was set up or not. It was like the was it the discord.com/blizzpro?
Mm, let's see. I'm gonna copy it. Oh, nope, that didn't do it. It's lots
Uh,
of numbers.
uh, okay.
All right,
So
we'll
never
figure it
mind.
out.
We'll figure that out. So disregard that. We will have the complete information for our new voice chat server. Look for it on Twitter. We'll go through. Up there we go. Eldorian to the rescue. Discord.blizzpro.com for our Discord server, so you can come in, join in, chat with us Friday night as we do our all-night stream on our Quest for 70, which should be more like Quest for Torment 6 because the leveling process is going to be so quick now
Okay.
to go through, hop in and chat with us as we're going and playing, along with Lala and Dainty there. And of course, you can go through and you can follow us individually. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at NineBallGamer. Leviathan is at SAStewart111, and you also stream from time to time. Isn't that true?
Yes, it is true, and it's coming back in a big way with season 5. So follow twitch.tv/Leviathan111. I'll be doing my mega stream. I asked the people if they wanted it. They said they wanted it, so we're gonna stream for at least 24 hours this coming weekend, hopefully more. And then as the week goes on, chasing those conquests and stuff, I'll be streaming as much as I can. So follow along.
Yeah. And with that, do you have anything else to add before we close out the show?
I don't even. I think if I could, I would, but I don't even have a voice.
Ugh,
So I got nothing. I just want a season 5 so hard.
there we go. The last thing that he was able to say. He is now actually going to have no voice when we go into the 24-hour stream. He'll be mute just because he had to go and put out he wants season 5 so hard. There we go. Then that is how the show ends. Good night, everybody.